It's official pick time. We got 12 fights to go through on UFC Baku. I'm going to go through every single one of them, and I'm going to tell you who I believe should get their hand raised. Now, I've been MIA for the past few days. I had some business to attend to. I've been working on this move across country for a couple months. And finally, it looks like this weekend I will be moving into my new house. So the past few days, I've been down in South Florida, packing everything up, doing what needs to be done so that I can get settled into my new house. And then we can get really deep into this content that I'm going to bring to you guys here on the Hey Jai Picks YouTube channel and across all social medias. I'm looking forward to that. But I just had to get that disclaimer out there because I've been a little bit inactive and that's not usually like me. But I'm going to get you this video. Usually comes out on Wednesday. I'm going to drop it today on Thursday. I'm recording this in the morning. I've got my picks locked in. I'm going to share them with you right here. It's a gun to your head. Picks and bets are very different. If I'm going to pick a fighter to win, doesn't mean I'm going to bet him. If I'm going to pick a fighter to win, doesn't mean I'm going to bet against him. We're going to go through it. As always, we start with the first fight of the night. I'm going to do it fairly brief here. We didn't have a full live stream last night like we usually do where it's more in depth, but I'll let you know why I'm taking every single fighter that I'm going to take to win. First fight of the night, we got Hamdi Abdelwahab taking on Muhammad Usman. I really want to take Muhammad Usman, but I know if this fight goes to a decision, it's going to go to Hamdi. And it's not that I think Hamdi's, going to lose by a large margin. I just think it's going to be a close fight. But I think Hamdi's probably going to be able to land majority of the bigger shots here. I don't think Usman has a ton of big power. I mean, knocking out Zach Pauga is not really going to do much to me. Hamdi's got a nice little overhand right. And his last fight against Jamal Pokes. Jamal Pokes, I think, is a much better striker than Mo Usman. And I think Mo Usman just struggles to find ways to win minutes in a fight. I mean, the only way he was able to win minutes when he won his UFC fights was getting takedowns on Jake Collier and getting takedowns against Junior Tafa. I don't know that he's going to be able to get takedowns on Hamdi. I do think the striking is going to be competitive to where Usman's probably going to be landing a good amount of, jabs to the head, jabs to the body, maybe a couple right hands. I don't know. But I think Hamdi might be able to get a couple takedowns here. I don't think he's going to be able to just absolutely smother him on the ground. I do think it's going to be competitive, but I'm going to take Hamdi to get his hand raised. He is from Egypt, that part of the world. I know Usman's going to have a little bit of momentum after UFC Atlanta, but I'm going to take Hamdi to win this one. He'll be my official pick. Not a lot of confidence, though, I could tell you that. Let's move on. Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Azat Maksum. This line is pretty wide in favor of Tagir Ulanbekov, which I can understand why. But I don't think Azat Maksum is a terrible fighter. He's going to go in there. I think he's a solid striker, fast. He's got good power. I could see him landing some good shots on Tagir early. Tagir's not the best striker out there. I think he's a little bit slow. But essentially, what it comes down to is I think Tagir's probably going to be able to get those takedowns. And watching back the Maksum and Charles Johnson fight, Maksum got taken down a couple times by Charles Johnson, which isn't the best look. But he was scrambling through it. He was working his way. He didn't really settle for the position. So if he can make Tagir work, he's got to stay safe in those scrambles because Tagir has a really solid submission game. He'll get to your back, lock in the rear naked choke. He'll look for those front chokes. So he's got to mind his P's and Q's there. But if he doesn't, I could see him getting subbed by Tagir. I think it could turn out to be a competitive fight. But I do think Tagir's veteran experience, his UFC experience, his overall skill set will probably allow him to get the win. So I'm going to take Tagir here. I think, the striking will be a little bit competitive, but overall the wrestling is probably going to get it done for the Russian here. I'll take Tagir for the official pick. Let's move on. Arina Alekseeva and Claudia Sygula. Super low-level fight, man. I mean, I think Arina Alekseeva has some of the, I don't want to say worst striking because it's not terrible, but she does not move her head at all. She's all forward momentum. She's just a very aggressive striker. And sometimes that does work. But I could see her getting caught with some shots by Sygula. Sygula's not a terrible striker. She's just not great at anything. And ultimately, her ground game is terrible. So if Arina can put Sygula on the back foot, that'll probably allow her to have a lot of success early on, especially. And if she can get her to the ground, she should probably be able to be the better grappler here. She also does kind of gas out as the fight goes on. So if Arina can't get her out of there early, I could see her starting to drop off a little bit and Sygula maybe battles back. But overall, I got to go with Alekseeva because I think her aggression will allow her to win the majority of the beginning of the fight, if not finish Sygula. And I think if she can hang on, like Sygula's not going to go out there TKO or round 3, I don't think. I think Irina Alekseeva is going to get this one done. I'm going to take her for the official pick. When it comes down to it, you could pretty much just look at their pictures and decide which one's probably going to win the fight. And I'll take the girl that has "Love Me" tatted on her chest with, I don't know what kind of hair that is, over the prettier one in Claudia Sygula. So Irina Alekseeva is the official pick. Daria Zhelezniakova taking on Melissa Mullins. Don't know where Melissa Mullins is looking. Okay, it looks like she's looking off into the distance. Daria's staring right into that camera. Good sign for Daria. Melissa might have some eyesight issues, but all she's got to do here is get the takedowns. Easier said than done, because I don't think Melissa Mullins' takedowns are all that great, and I don't think Melissa Mullins' striking is all that great. So she's got to get those takedowns, okay? She's got to get those takedowns, and if she does it, Daria's going to win this fight. Daria is a much faster, cleaner striker. Melissa's very hittable. She does have a decent jab, but, how far is that going to get you? And her entries on her takedowns just aren't that good. She's really got to get that body lock and look for a trip. If Daria can defend the body lock trip takedown, she's got a good chance to win this fight, but I just can't trust her to do it. I also can't trust her that if she gets taken down, she's going to be able to get back up, because I think Melissa Mullins' best part about her game is her ground game, her ability to control girls on the ground with her jiu-jitsu, land some ground and pound. I think that's probably going to be what gets her the win here. So Melissa Mullins, if she gets the takedowns, I think she wins this fight, and I'm going to err on the side that she does get the takedowns. So Melissa Mullins is the official pick this week. Another disgusting fight. Let's move on. Ismail Naurdiev taking on Jun Park. It's a weird one to me because I'm not really ready to count out Naurdiev, just considering he had a terrible run in the UFC his first time around, but he went back to the regional scene. He still took a couple losses, and then he comes back and beats Bruno Silva. I don't know how much stock I put into that, but he's still young. He's got a decent enough athletic frame where he could have some success here. He's got solid wrestling. I don't think his striking is amazing, but he doesn't really hang out in the pocket too much. He likes to stay at kicking range, not really engage too much in that part of the fight. And then he's going to look for his takedowns. And Jun Park's takedown defense, I don't think is amazing. I don't think he does a very good job of getting off of the cage when guys are pressuring him, but he's probably the better overall fighter with more UFC experience, and I think that's probably going to be what helps him to get the dub here. It could turn into a fight that goes to a decision, and it's very close, and Naurdiev, being where he's at from that part of the world, might get his hand raised, but I think Jun Park's overall cardio, ground game, pressure, pace is probably going to be able to get him the dub here. So I'm going to take Jun Park to get the dub for the official pick this week. Let's move on. Sadykhov, Oban, Elliott. I don't think Ko is completely dead in this one. I don't think Oban's much of a finisher, but I do think he's a great minute winner, and he's got a good overall game, dude. He's a solid enough striker from the outside, solid kick, solid jab, good footwork, and I think that's going to allow him to win minutes on the feet against Sadykhov, who's probably going to be trying to figure out Oban's movement. And I don't know that Ko's going to be able to land a lot of offense. And then if Ko looks for a takedown, I mean, Oban Elliott's got some pretty solid takedown defense. And if Oban wants to take down Sadykhov, I could see him doing that as well. So I think Oban gets this one done. I think he's a pretty large favorite. I'm going to take Oban Elliott to get this one done for the official pick. Let's go to the main card. And this is where it gets interesting because we got a 6-fight main card. Muhammad Naimov taking on Bogdan Grad. I'm going to take Bogdan Grad. All right, I watched this dude fight. He's part of the Gustafsson Duplessis realm of just pure tism coming at you. Some of these guys just don't know how to handle it. I mean, Grad literally walks you down just with a high guard, not a lot of head movement. He'll eat the shots coming back at you, and he's just looking to pressure, throw hard shots, look for the takedowns. I think that could wear on Naimov a little bit. Naimov's not a guy that really likes to engage much in like a high volume striking affair. He's a guy that likes to want to clinch you up. He wants to clinch you up, look for the takedowns. He'll look for some big shots from the outside, but those big shots are usually looking to set up the clinch. And if he's looking for the big shot against Bogdan Grad, he might be able to land a couple, but then Bogdan Grad's very, very strong in that clinch as well. I think this fight could turn out to be a close decision, or maybe Grad takes over late in the fight. I think Naimov has some early KO upside. Grad's been knocked out before, but I don't know that he's going to get it. And if he doesn't get it in round 1, I think rounds 2 and 3 could look very competitive. So I'm going to side with Bogdan Grad here. I'm going to side with him. Naimov, been finished in round 3 before. Granted, it was Felipe Lima, but I think Bogdan Grad's pace, pressure, grit could turn out to get him the W here. So I'll take Bogdan Grad for the official pick. Kind of a big dog. I'm taking a leap of faith, but I think it's worth it at this price. Let's move on. Nazim Sadykhov taking on Nicholas Motta. Motta's going to have his chances to knock out Nazim, and Nazim's fighting in his home country. A lot on the line here. All right, he wants to put on a big performance. Nazim is a great overall fighter, but at times this guy's, standing and staring. He's not using his grappling, and I highly doubt in Azerbaijan he's going to go out there and look to just wrestle up Nicholas Motta, which would probably be his easiest path to victory, because I don't know that Motta has bad takedown defense or a terrible ground game, but Nicholas Motta has really solid power on the feet, solid boxing, clean hands. And if he's, thrown away at Nicholas Motta, Motta has all the chances in the world to catch him. But Nazim has been super, super durable. I mean, I've seen him take some big shots. And I don't know that he's, I don't even know if you can knock the guy out. He's got like a brick head. He's built different. So I'm going to take Nazim Sadykhov to get this one done for the official pick. I do think if he stays in the face of Nicholas Motta and he wants to just swing away, he's probably more durable than Nicholas Motta. And I think he probably gets it done. I'll take Nazim Sadykhov to get the dub here. Probably got a better kicking game than Nicholas Motta as well. Better overall game. Just like the IQ that he fights with, not always my cup of tea, but I do think he's probably the better fighter here. I'll take Sadykhov for the official pick. Let's move on. Taufik Musayev taking on Miktabek Orolbai, the debuting Musayev, another hometown from Azerbaijan. Watching the tape on Musayev, I mean, I think he's a really fast, explosive striker, a little bit low volume for my liking, but he likes to stay out of range and then explode in with big right hands, big left hooks, and he'll throw some really hard kicks from range as well. And I could see where Orolbai is struggling to get into land some offense early on because Musayev's footwork is pretty good and he doesn't really like to stand out in the pocket. Orolbai overall, though, I think is probably the better fighter, at least moving forward with the UFC. Musayev's 34, 35, making his UFC debut. I think his best years are behind him. I think Orolbai's best years are ahead of him. But I think Orolbai is going to be able to take over this fight as it moves on. I don't think Musayev's cardio is the best. I think Orolbai's pressuring and Musayev having to fight off the back foot is going to play a big factor here. And I think Orolbai is going to be able to get those takedowns, maybe into round 2, into round 3. And I think he's going to be able to grind his way out to either a decision victory or a late finish. I would probably err more on the side of a decision victory. But I think Orolbai gets this one done. I'm going to take him for the official pick. Musayev, going to be a fun fighter in the UFC for sure. I just don't know how many wins he's going to have. And this is a tough debut. It's pretty clear they're throwing him. They know his level, and they're throwing him to a really solid opponent in Orolbai. I think Orolbai is going to be able to get this dub. I'll take Orolbai for the official pick. Let's go to the feature bout of the night. Curtis Blaydes, Rizvan Kuniev. The rebooking. I think this fight was supposed to be on a pay-per-view. I forget which one. A few pay-per-views ago. Maybe it'd been more than that. But I picked Rizvan Kuniev. And I'm not going to change my pick, man. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to take the Rizzler to get this one done. Okay, I've never been a Curtis Blaydes guy. I think Curtis Blaydes has chin problems. Usually he's getting knocked out by guys that are faster or just land really solid, big, powerful shots. And that's not really Kuniev. But if Curtis Blaydes is in a striking battle for 15 minutes, I don't know how confident I would be with Curtis Blaydes. And I don't think Kuniev's some amazing striker, but he's a really solid athlete. He's pretty fast. Obviously, when he was on roids in the PFL, probably looked a lot faster. But I think for his size, he's still a good athlete with some solid speed. And if he can wait for his timing, look for those shots, push him up against the cage, defend some takedowns from Curtis Blaydes, if Blaydes ever even shoots takedowns, then I think Kuniev can make this one close. And I don't know why they just insist on making this matchup, but it's very weird to me. I'm going to take the Rizzler, Rizvan Kuniev, for the official pick. He's the Russian fighting in that part of the world. I could see something fishy. I know I've said that a couple times in this video, and it's not necessarily why I'm taking these guys, but just a little added bonus. But I think Kuniev has the tools to get a win here. So I'm going to take Rizvan Kuniev for the official pick. Let's move on. Rafael Fiziev, the hometown guy in the co-main event, coming off 3 straight losses, 2 of them to Justin Gaethje, one of them a knee injury to Mateusz Gamrot. And that one is what sticks out to me a little bit, because the first Gaethje fight, I'm like, okay, I actually thought Fiziev could have won. And then he blows his knee out. Not a good look. He takes a long time off, comes back on short notice against Gaethje. Didn't look great. He had about 5 minutes of cardio, and then he started to slow down. And that's kind of been the issue with Fiziev. Okay, he's a very explosive striker, and if you make him work, he's going to tire out. He's not going to have that explosiveness in rounds 2 and rounds 3. Now, obviously, 3-round fight is going to be a lot easier for him than a 5-round fight. And he's been into a 5-round fight before, knocked out RDA in round 5. This is 3 rounds, and Bahamondes, I think, is just improving at a rapid rate. He's huge for the weight class. He's 6'3". He lands like over 7 significant strikes per minute. And I just don't know that Fiziev's going to be able to keep up. If Fiziev wants to offensively wrestle, like, Bahamondes got some solid takedown defense. It's not like Fiziev's a guy that's looking for takedowns. I know he got a couple against Gaethje, but if he looks for takedowns here, I think it's probably just going to tire him out more. Bahamondes probably not going to be looking for takedowns. I don't think he's ever landed one. So this fight's probably going to play out mostly on the feet. And I think Fiziev's probably the more accomplished striker, but he's also the older guy who tires out more, doesn't land as many significant strikes. I think Bahamondes, in the bigger cage, if he wants to use his length, I think he can. Fiziev might be able to land some big shots when they engage in that pocket, and he's going a couple shots to the body upstairs, and Bahamondes might be getting cracked a little bit, but this guy's pretty durable. He's pretty durable. He's got better cardio, better volume, and he's the bigger, longer guy, younger guy as well. So I'm going to side with Bahamondes here. I think it's a great co-main event, but I'm going to take Bahamondes, get it done for the official pick. Let's go to the main event. The main event, Jamahal Hill, Khalil Rountree. I'm not, convinced one way or the other, man. I think Khalil's going to come in here, have a lot of success early. I think he's going to be faster. I think Jamahal Hill looked unbelievably slow in his last fight, and I think those injuries that he's had it could be the end of him. And, he looked so slow against Yuri. I mean, Yuri was slipping all of his punches and ripping, and I think Khalil is going to be able to land some big shots, being the faster guy, smaller, more explosive guy. Jamahal, though, I think has better cardio. His durability is good. I mean, the shots he took from Yuri, they were big shots, and it wasn't like he was going out cold. He got dropped a couple times, and I think that damage just kind of ultimately wore on him to where he got TKO'd in the 3rd. And I could see a similar thing happening here. Khalil's not a guy that I think is going to just go down to one punch. And Jamahal has some big power, but he's also a little bit slower, kind of winds up on his punches, telegraphs a little bit more. So I expect Khalil to have success early on in this fight. It's just, can he sustain it over the course of 5 rounds, or can he get him out of there early on in the fight? I'm going to take Khalil Rountree for the official pick. I just think he's a little bit faster. And I think that it's going to play a big factor here against Jamahal, who is a little bit plotty. I don't think has the best counters. I think he's a guy that needs to work at his pace. I don't know that Khalil's going to allow him to do that. So I'm going to take Khalil for the official pick to get it done at UFC Baku. I appreciate you for watching. I'm going to work on the best bets video for you real soon. I know this is coming a day later than it usually does, so appreciate your patience. Like the video for me. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back here real soon. Hey, Job Picks. We out.